Hi, this is the Andru review of Wonder Woman in the 50s. Quite a few years, a bit before I was born, so most of these stories I'm not familiar with at all. What's in it? Well, obviously Wonder Woman, and not many of the standard characters you would have got in the 1940s. Obviously Steve Trevor is in the book, but the book came out just recently, so it's 2021. There's approximately 320 pages. It's in colour all the way through on reasonably nice quality paper, which is really something, which is always good. And, well, there's some text as well, which is really useful as well. But before I go on with that, obviously it's from DC Comics, before I go any further, then this one, Wonder Woman Omnibus. This is the latest version, Volume 4. There is a Volume 5, and I assume that some of the material that's coming out in Volume 5 may be covered in this book. But this one finishes in 1949, so that's as far as it gets. But that, I love all these ones. Absolutely brilliant. Some really classic brilliant stuff. I love the artwork. The artwork, H.G. Peters, just superb. Was it H.G. Peter? One of the two. And there's this brilliant book as well. I just want to point this one out. This is an absolutely lovely book, Wonder Woman. And the reason being I picked this because it actually includes quite a bit, well, a lot, not a lot, but it's got a lovely bit of things like here. Got Sensation Comics. So you can see the style. Obviously things were slightly different in the 50s. It was not the sort of way it was in the 40s, nor was it later in the 60s. Now the showcase book with Wonder Woman, there's a few of those. The stories in here appeared in the showcase, the Volume 1. So that was obviously the late 50s. But you've got the stories here, and I'm just going to go through the stories now. There's a nice introduction, and there's obviously the details there, and it is H.G. Peter instead of Peters. My apologies for saying adding an S to his name. So you've got the details there, lovely there, and then you've got obviously all the other details there, and you've got the list of all the various stories. Unfortunately, it doesn't say on the back the stories, so and I don't know if there's any listings that were included. So it's all over the place as well. It's sort of a bit higgledy-piggledy. So you've got Wonder Woman 45, you've got Wonder Woman 105, Wonder Woman 107, then you've got Wonder Woman 50, 66, 72, 80, 95. Then you've got an All-Star Comics, which is really brilliant, 56 and 57. God, I would love to see a collection of All-Star Comics, all of them in this sort of format. Now, I did have, many years ago, the archive versions. Sadly, I've only got a couple of volumes of those. So it would be nice if they bring them back, and sort of paperback editions would be superb. Now you've got All-Star 57 mentioned, Wonder Woman 94, then you've got 98, you've got 100, then you've got 97, then 100 again. Oh, Sensation Comics 100. There's not actually many, most of them I've said are Wonder Woman, so they're Wonder Woman ones. You've got Wonder Woman 90, then you've got Wonder Woman 60, so you're going backwards and forwards. It was ordered in a very unusual way. Trials of Wonder Woman, etc. The bird who revealed Wonder Woman's identity. So you've got 76, then you've got 99, then you've got 100, Wonder Woman's 100th anniversary. Now, obviously, stories by Robert Kanhar, something like that. I'm always hopeless with names. I probably got that coming. And Ross Andru, I think I got that right. And then 101, 103, 108, and then you've got a bonus cover gallery at the back. Now, the comics reprinted, etc. It says the usual thing that they always put there. Now, you've got an introduction. Love introductions. Introductions are always great. And you've got collection cover art. Obviously, you've got the same. I don't know why they always do that, but they always do. Always. Then the many origins of Wonder Woman. They're basically the same, but they've sort of, well, some variations in terms of how they get tiara, how she gets a girdle, all those sort of things. You've got obviously the cover. Now, not every single one of these has got the cover. Now, I don't know why they didn't include all of the covers. That would have been truly. They've got a bonus gallery at the back, and it's just the daftest of galleries. Since it has number whatever, this one is 99. It's got 102, 104, and 105. Would have been lovely if it included obviously all the ones like 66, 67, 68, and all those. Maybe in quarter. Just in quarter size, so you would have got thumbnails, so you get 4 on a page. That sort of thing would have been brilliant. Also, I'm not certain if these covers have been, because I haven't got the originals, obviously. I have no idea, so I can't compare. They do look like they've been updated and cleaned up considerably, and the colouring does look quite different compared with the obviously the artwork thing. You've got some graduation in there, which I'm certain was not in the originals. So just when I look at some of these, I was thinking, not certain of that. However, maybe I'm wrong, but it just looks slightly different from how I imagine 50s comics were. I love the Wonder Woman story, 52 pages. That was when I loved 52 pages. 52 pages, 100 pages, whatever, those sort of things, brilliant. 84 pages. And then you've got the artwork, H.G. Peter, this one, just brilliant. Very similar to the early issues as well, of course, that sort of always using the gunfire against the bracelets. Yeah. And then you've got the Wonder Woman story, part 2, Act of Treachery. And then you weirdly it jumped in, obviously, the artwork. You got Wonder Girl into the story still. And then you've got another cover. Again, I'm not certain without looking at the originals that it just looks slightly different how I imagine that the 50s covers would have been done. It's quite amazing that was 50s. I always think that was more 60s, but however, obviously it wasn't. So you've got Wonder Girl there. Obviously Teen Titans later on. The Teenage Amazon. Not every story gets a cover because you've got the equipment list, fashion on the Amazon. Obviously got a lot of detail, which is really good. I think it's a really nice sort of bit of description there, all the various things. And then you've got obviously the secret story of Wonder Woman's lasso in the thing, but no cover. And it would have been brilliant if they'd put some of the covers. I don't know which issue this one is. I mean, it's Secrets of Lasso, that was in issue 50. Just maybe could have 50 and 66. Well, nothing. And some of those covers were really amazing. So it would be nice, just like maybe 4 on a page. They could have covered it in 10 pages. Mere quibble on that. The artwork is very, very nice, very, very sharp. You can really see they've obviously done a lot of clean up there. Obviously, I've got the proofs and they're just brilliant. Can't complain. The artwork is just first rate. Now, my favourites, I have to say, I love those stories and they're just great. The artwork was just so weird. I loved all the omnibus editions. That H.G. Peter, just brilliant. The artwork was just odd. You certainly can see the change as well when you look at the work from 1949 and then you see the work again 1957. Really quite different style. There's a certain unusualness about it that's, well, maybe not everyone's. Then you've got one of the team, and you've got a great bit here into justice. And this again, and I don't know. Maybe that was there in the original, and I haven't got the original, so I can't tell. You've got Justice Society of America. Just a lovely gradient there. I'm thinking, did they have gradients on that bit? Just minor issue. A great story. The Day the World Ended. Brilliant story. I love Black Canary, Flash. I love the way they did the stories as well. They always had them split. So you had like the two characters would go off, two characters would go off somewhere else. So you would have Flash and Wonder Woman, and you had Atom. Atom was strong as well at that point. The Green Lantern. Green Lantern was always odd. I love the Green Lantern. I'm not saying I just thoroughly enjoyed the stories. But it always seemed amazing. They really, when obviously Hal got the ring, it was far more inventive. Sometimes in here, you always think, didn't really use it in a way that you could think that would have made much more sense. You know, you've got a powerful thing that can literally do anything, and it was always very limited sort of imagination, which is always a pity. Anyway, so you've got the story there. I love this bit with it's basically the future, and they can't transmit information back into the past. And you're thinking, well, if that's the case, they go back and they go on this sort of bus. It's a bus. They go on a bus, and well, wouldn't they just forget that they were on the bus that they were from the future? That's a mere quibble on the storyline, you know, unless they've got a big sign, but then they can't transmit it. They have to break the really contrived storyline there to, I just thought, well, why bother? Why make it so complicated? No, just let people be able to communicate. That was the way. Now, the next story was equally daft. it was quite nice because it actually had some scenes like of London and things. They went everywhere. The usual sort of thing. I always loved Hawkman as well. Hawkman, he had I don't know how long he had that costume for, but I love that costume. So then obviously got obviously Dr. Midnight there. And, oh, this was a lovely one. The cover was brilliant. I love that one with the 94, Wonder Woman 94, The Channel of Time. But then must have been quite unusual. You get the cover, which looked amazing, and then you look inside. Just the artwork just seemed very different inside. So you've got some very, well, I think slightly clunky artwork there. But it's a Robin Hood story. It's quite nice. The story is completely daft. You go, this Robin Hood. However, the $1 Million Penny storyline there, seeing double, there was a lot of these ones where she'd always face herself. It was always a good opportunity for battling Wonder Woman, battling Wonder Woman. And they did that a few times. Obviously, clearly that story was a popular story to do. And there was always alternate universe ones. There was stories where she was cloned, or I don't know if she was cloned, but it's numerous possibilities. Or people would dress up, or she would end up having to play herself sort of backwards and forwards just to complicate things. Because of course, there was always this romance element. Steve was always trying to find out, a bit like the Superman. I mean, really? Couldn't you spot that, she's always like very similar? You look, too easy. Pair of glasses was so powerful. What a powerful tool. Who would know? Really? However, as I put my glasses on, I look completely, utterly, obviously, completely different. Yeah. However, I love those covers. Look at that cover there. Again, this is a weird one as well. You've got this dinosaur in a brown. I mean, the thing is, that's a very odd. Of course, also the price as well, 10 cents. Wow, hard to imagine that sort of price. Anyway, Wonder Woman, romance editor. Obviously, she needed some get a bit of money coming in. Thing is, she often had to give the money to charity. That was always the thing as well. There was always that element. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, but it's for charity. Oh, it's okay. And she, of course, sorts things out. And I love the bit where the editor, there's a scene with the editor that's really brilliant, just so perfect in the storyline. Totally lovely. This one, Wonder Woman, Amazon babysitter. You've got daft sort of with a whale, as well as dinosaurs and things. I'm not certain. There's a lovely scene with this hanging from, an elephant sort of hanging. It's printed in a paper. You've got it printed in a paper. Now, I mean, papers obviously take a couple of days to get printed. All the photos come in and all that sort of stuff. But then she sort of says, "Oh, I must go and rescue." I think that parachute would have had a bit of a problem by that time. However, that's again, you can't put logic into these stories. If you put logic in, they all start falling down because you start thinking, well, But it's still, I just love them. And actually, that's the thing I quite often, you just have to chuckle, the just absurdity of some of these comics. That's the thing, that's the great thing. However, once we get through that one, sadly, that they did include a lot of the later stuff. And I wish they had included more of the earlier stuff, because I'm more familiar with the later stuff, because of course, the showcase, also Wonder Woman in the 60s, 70s, there was not, that's what I grew up with. So I would have preferred more in the 50s, which I didn't know. So it's just pity that they didn't include more of that. But still, I love this one with the bird. So they did include some covers, but it would have been lovely if they'd included a few more covers than they did. And then, I say, we've got the later material. And then they got a bonus cover gallery, which was just weird. I don't know, it just seems like the oddest cover gallery at the back. I would have loved maybe some original pages. They must have got some original artwork from that period. That would have been great. A script or something, those sort of things. But what a book. I absolutely love this. I was looking forward to this for ages. Thoroughly enjoyed this. I know I've been slightly sort of, there's not much you can say about some of these 50s comics. They are just plain, they were weird, very odd, but still very, very enjoyable and funny. And I loved it. Just great little book. Wonder Woman in the 50s. Sadly, of course, there's a Superman one, there's a Batman one, and well, that's it. Of course, there was no, unless they do a westerns in the 50s, or crime in the 50s, or war in the 50s. Well, I think they've done a few DC war books, but it would be nice if they did a in the 50s theme, because there's a lot of material that's not so sort of readily available, and it's great to read this stuff. I think just love these sort of things. It's nice that they get their edition, even though of course I would want the whole lot in a massive omnibus edition. Hopefully volume 6, volume 7, volume 8 of the omnibuses will be great as well. So, but totally recommended all the same. Love this.